Nonum abo Ghana mai adesheman momobi biara ajo zeba enyumber. Nonum akan kasiebo wo Big Family Radio kasa efido embrono as today. And some ahodo ayensa ka na yabo abuano no maze ebosumude enyumber no num akan kasiebo. And some no do sopa nemom zosafata deti ebi ewo menyine day. Chamayin awo manga na embreshebe jomifie emprempe yamunuka sei wono dwuma wodino wasan etu ahye debema yedinchemu ebro na de mensam no NPP amayoku no oyedom NPP amayoku no awo embreshebe jomifie enwon so wayensam twofu nhiem de mensam krimal so edom kuma anandisi amayoku no enwon so wayensam twofu nhiem a yedze enchemu ebro NDC amayoku no edenka wabe abakasa chem de abatu komisan ne certified voters register de beno ondi mu papa ma wan enti wanja ntuma wagbo egu ensam no ebin mekan hu ene ya bonne bedaw a mazabos mu de enwembe nonum akan kasiebo ejuma kubi adaruma ene wobo mechi dom mamede kasiebo ebro Big Family Radio on your Big Family Multimedia Institute and so BFM Store Trustees Network Group and when you know bomechi do mamede kasiebo medeba ebosumu okin Kenya watamanka and then biri izin a mejedo anne jata Kobana dodo na from jata koko school time was occupying afage bray na mfa nsamno ninchemu emma Chiame na wo oma Ghana yane embrese bedwomefie Yera Alban Bagbin Sumana Kingsford ende okopemu ewo oman Ghana embrese bedwomefie na chede wotu shado nden waksa no kwa asetena ebiem wokodu ya pe na Bagbin Masan etu oye ahano ensamano ahyedebiem kopem day mankasa misimi ginaye na botayinti anamdo ema Yera Alban Bagbin Sumana Kingsford otu da me njimedi estani another way to ashada ebiem nyene day ose NPP amayoku no wamba embrese bedwomefie NPP amayokuno one amba mbesha jomefie enti se wonyiwa wontum insigina ye bi another one sha mbra mfa oman Ghana no akase no chem dem oman Ghana se yeba shambra oyedemi amayokufu ebieni ena wo hia e wo mbesha bejomefie wotum watnase wokodaze wudi abobo na wo hye mbra na se NDC ekupemu wo na NPP amba oyedan ye ono Bagbin obotum watna wa ye hwahan na wakade wole shambra da mara na wedi hu ndwuma as de bi kopem de NPP fo wo besigina ye de wo baba abedi wo bepemu oman Ghana mbesha bejomefie ne de wetu oye da me mbra no da me medin ashada na ono eno kasa na orichemu dem eshema a fan ko de NPP amayoku fuwatna no wotopan wo ye honyo chede wa ye zero a obiara ambembe motum antina wo enti ena wetu da me dwumedi no ashada.
Unfortunately, the signatories who made the request have not shown up. And therefore, matters that they wanted us to handle, which are admitted for the consideration of the business committee, are not on the order paper, and in fact, there's no order paper for today because the business committee could not meet due to the absence of the people who requested for the recall. And as you can see, one side of the house is completely empty. In view of this, we have, as usual, got a quorum to sit, but we have no business before us to transact because the business committee as you know, they prepare a report, and this report is adopted by the House as business agreed by the House to transact during the course of the week. In the absence of that, there is no other authority that can put business before you which you have not adopted to transact. In view of the failure of the business committee to sit, as a result of the refusal of those who requested for the recall to show up, we are compelled to once again adjourn the sitting of the House. Knowing the challenges we are facing, it is not advisable to be adjourning from day to day. And so I'll proceed once more to adjourn the meeting indefinitely. And the meeting, this extraordinary meeting, is accordingly adjourned.
Enti chairman our mind Ghana embrace bedwamfie enokasai na ochemu de NPP amayokufu na wafrada me recall no nanso oboduru no na boni wo ono nti enogina do ema ode wone asetena na wokono mbeche bedwamfie no ode akwahya edafoforo abra yebeka de onyim da patia obasan afre ebiem ebusua motoa kasebo no do na penyin pa na ne oda NPP amayoku wan ano ewo man Ghana embrehye bedwamfie yewa Alexander Apenyo Markins ono eye embrehye bedwamni edema efutu abatompehyedo ewo mfifunu mantamu ono so ekasai na onensamtwafo kasa na ochem de enzamol kodo ewo man Ghana embrehye bedwamfie no efa bebre no yewa Alban Bagbin so mana Kingsford onimupa osi onyemudem ntemo asibia na de ntamonte obi abado man Ghana embrehye bedwamfie na so pado bet na wo na wa hwe na we hwa ano no wa yene dam ene wa ba bet de orba bibi foforo de menti ene wono so wentum amopem ewo ho abro ne samtwafo ekasa ewo embrehye bedwamfie ho no ene odu tugwa elchem dem owura Bagbin ne nyama hodro ye dan no oye ne dam samtwafo nhyem a oye no okan ewo ne samtwafo nhyem dem o declare oye Mbese bedwamfo baye anan wono ngwa no vacant enti ni hina no ose ni hina enya adodo bandam enka wo bibi oye former communication edema mbese bedwamfo no yewra Alban Bagbin Kings for Somana wentum wanye demokra oye no se oye chami no manga na mbese bedwamfie no onyimpa da endei bibi damro kodo ewo manga na mbese bedwamfie nanso obohwe no wetum esha no wanhwe ensha ano ena okokotena wa ochem de wetu oye wonne dada asetena no ezi ahye edafoforo.
We will continue to compel the speaker to follow due process. We recall Parliament. He has come to illegally adjourn Parliament immediately without engaging us, knowing that there was chaos. There was chaos in the chamber, and he knew that the right thing to do was to engage us and to get the NDC to sit on his left. He refused to do that. So we would compel Parliament to sit. And for the right government business to be transacted. We are going to do it. We will not allow the speaker to have his way. He is not a member of Parliament. The speaker is not a member of Parliament. He presides over Parliament. We, the members of Parliament, determine the business of Parliament. So we'll recall Parliament again. I'm saying that we'll recall Parliament. We'll recall Parliament. We'll recall Parliament.
This Parliament expires on the 6th of January 2025. So we have time.
Enti yewra Apenyo Markins ono eye penipa Oda NPP amayoku no wonano ewo man Ghana embrehye bedwamfie ena offensem twofo nhyiema ozo damansam awodo no ode etugwa na the men say munsara no oye paying powder NDC amayokun nano Kazel Atoforson ono so akasa onesam chofo ehia ena wa chem dem obasa de NPP amayoku no Ghana fo nso no peme na ono ndi no nyonyo no pa osande Ghana fo NPP fo na wamboa emende aseta no wentum ankwado nti onesam chofo hia ozen sam awodo atugwa
under Article 1123 and Order 53 of our standing orders and failed to show up. 2. We left our busy schedule, suspended our campaigns, and reported to duty this morning. Only to see that the NPP members of Parliament who actually recalled Parliament, we noticed that they failed to show up. This morning, at about 7 o'clock, we showed up at the business committee meeting on the 6th floor, only to notice that the MPP members of the committee once again failed to show up at the business committee. I personally called the committee clerk and I was informed that she is out of the jurisdiction and no one has reached out to him, to her, to program the business of the day. I was worried and reached out also to the MPP side and to have an indication as to what their plan is. No one responded. I am deeply worried and deeply concerned that the very people that requested for Parliament to be recalled failed to show up. Clearly, what we are seeing here is an abuse of the Constitution and the standing orders of Ghana's Parliament. The NPP Minority Caucus have indeed caused financial loss to the state and to us, the NDC members of Parliament, and to the people of Ghana. We say this because these recalls cost Ghana money. This is not the first time that they have done this. They've done this a couple of times, but we see nothing than disrespect. We call on the people of Ghana to see the behavior of the NPP and punish them accordingly. They have certainly, everything shows that the NPP are tired, they are fed up, and they are not ready to work for the people. They are ready for the people's business. They are bereft of ideas and they are short of vision. They cannot solve the suffering of the people. All what they do out there during campaigns, in spite of the hardship, is to sing and dance Osisifia. That's all what they do. In times like this, when the ordinary Ghanaian is struggling to survive, they are dancing and singing Osisifia and sharing money. We want Ghanaians to see them as such and vote against them and sack them. Because clearly, you can see, we have about 100 NDC MPs here today out of the 137, and we are determined to do what is right. But colleagues, to consider government business, they have no business. So the truth out there is that there is no urgent government business. There is no urgent government business, and the government has no business. They are giving up, they've checked out, and they want the election to be done as soon as possible so that they can leave office.
Abusia yatwa kasiebo no do na ende yadwa ejina oman Ghana embrehye bedwemu fie a oye ntawonto kakra bi wa menu mudo ewo ho the mensem no oye swafo a ohwene imfiri na yene nnwuma ho nsam do yewura kwabena tahe Hammond KT Hammond ono NSS wa chem dem yewura oye Alban Bagbin so mana Kingsford ni gina yo OC efanim oman Ghana mbehye bedwemu fie won asatena dade wokonam we twashade no osi nyano kwando kete krampode one sam trafo eka say e wo manga na mehye mu fie en o chem dem oye yewura Bagbin ne rule na ode be no wa ma ede no entum ankoye kura na papa ye ken oye mehye bedwemini edema adanse asokwa abatum pehyedo ono en o kasa na o chem dem ogina oye dem embredu na wolka da masam da ontwaye na ono en o chem dem NDC ebinum pere wo pere won Jeminka kuku eno kwatna NPP for one ngwado ani na no onye mbra kwando na ochem dem Supreme Court on that same bia akasa achem den the masemi obohwe no we esano abra onen sam twafo kasa no eno the mensam awudwi order to one enim
has been overset, has been stayed by the Supreme Court. Honorable, which interprets the Constitution, interprets what we do over here. Accordingly, the status quo ante should be reverted to. So we will know that we are going back to this. Why should the NDC guys rush to go and sit on the side of the NDC bank? What is that? No, but that is not the point. Where were they sitting? Where were the NDC voting? No, you are not listening to me. You are not listening to me. Let's get the fact right. Where were the NDC guys sitting? Is that where they're supposed to be sitting? But you see, we have a convention. We have a convention. It's not argument nonsense. You guys are not listening. Supreme Court is speaking. It is all for us members of Parliament on the majority side to be arguing any point. This is a matter. This is foreclosed. It is completely foreclosed. Supreme Court is speaking. That is the end of the matter.
The Speaker of Parliament says when it comes to seating arrangement, that is not. He says we should come. He said that anywhere and do the business.
Listen, the others of the Supreme Court were directed specifically to the Speaker. It was the Speaker, it wasn't the leadership, it wasn't the clerk, it wasn't the leadership which made that ruling or that decision. It was the Speaker of Parliament who unconstitutionally made a proclamation, whatever it is that he said the last time. The Supreme Court is told him that he was wrong. Restore matters to what they were before you did that.
Line of action for the MPP.
Well, we will cite him for contempt. We will cite the Speaker for contempt. Watch the face.
I mean, but your side did not come.
Keep on saying
where's the business committee? You should have started yesterday.
Let's get first and first. Yes. First and first, there is a ruling made by him. The ruling has been overset. You're forcing me to repeat myself so many times. The Supreme Court is spoken. We want the decision of the Supreme Court to be respected.
Speaker acknowledged
that what?
Of the Supreme Court.
And that what?
He did say that he has been served with copies of the judgment of the Supreme Court.
So what I said, it is not a question of acknowledgement. It's a question of implementation of the decision.
Honorable, two things.
It will be the interest of Ghanaians for the Speaker to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. Come back to this side rather than continuously adjourning. You're not going to get anywhere. Look at the policy of cameras. Everyone is listening, but you don't seem to be listening and concentrating on what I'm saying. It is not a question of our presence in there or not. It is for the Speaker. If it is only about 100 people who are coming to the room there, minority and the majority will constitute the composition of the House in its entirety. Whichever comes in there, provided that we have enough to constitute the business of to constitute the House and then start business of the House, we should do it. So even if he had 99, which is 1/3 of what to form the quorum, it was for the Speaker to make the announcement in the House that his ruling has been stayed, has been overset. Accordingly, minority back to where you were, majority back to where you have been. That is the simplest solution that we're talking about.
You say you're going to cite him for contempt.
Yes.
When are you doing this?
Watch the space.
Watch the space. I mean, finally, the Speaker says that the majority has failed to convene the business meeting yesterday,
you see,
so that they can put the business for this emergency.
I keep saying that first things first. First is for the Speaker to declare in that House the same way as Cathedral, the same way he did to make that. Well, you can keep on making that foolish statement. It doesn't take you anywhere. But what it is that it is for the Speaker to sit up there and make the pronouncement that the Supreme Court is already overset his decision, and accordingly we should come back and sit where we sit. Then the business of the House.
Thank you very much. Honorable K.T. Hammond has been.
Enti ora K.T. Hammond iwunde nenwa berpa nenwa soja kokokokokokokpa na the me parliament wonu nze mahye pa minority nze wom majority so ndo papa enkanyoni ni de majority and minority wa ye KG fa what to twede we ebusuan meyantoa ensam no do na abato komisan endeda one oye amayoku awodu ehie ewo omanga na ham na ne na de odane oye certified voters register ho de chawan na ono enamodo ema amayoku awodu ko hie ewo naso ne ya odo tugo echem de sesia de oyada abato komisan ordinary certified voters register no abapado na ɛwɔ na pɛ ɛna ɔyɛ NDC amayoku no wane penyin no ko ono Dr. Tanko Rashid ono Dr. Rashid Tanko ono NDC Deputy Director Edema Elections another one election home ono ka say no chem the share nkrate na abatu komisan ezaba no ohunde ondimu enti enwan as NDC no enya do beje da me nkrate na atumi de ochina na nkrate no abatu nkrate homa no ehu etotime bia order abatu komisan ohwe no ye ni ye ansa na order pado abaka de oye certified voters register enti owura oye Dr. Tanko Rashid ono akasa achem de abatu komisan ne certified register order pado no enya da NDC amayokunu wobaja atumuda
reached the procedure of satisfying the she mentioned regulation 27. I thought she was going to read regulation 27 1 2 3 up to the 4th. There are 4 listed under regulation 27. It clearly stated how a register is to be satisfied, and one of it is that there is going to be formed adjudication committee of which political parties are going to be part of it. Have you heard any adjudication committee? And you are satisfying the register.
The EC in response
Abusia yatwa kasiaba no do yekopo mu ewo bono epoye mantemu na nina eye abato afia yewrominti ena onamdo emangama hodo kokodo ewo manga na ha na kane no swafo ena onembehye badwemene ma adehye wotechima north abato mpehye do ono eye owura obenfo Christopher Ameyo Akumfi ode ato NPP Ameyoku oye polling station executive for nim dem wo mo homodo no pa ewo Africa campaign yimu na woye campaign ne hunde campaign wali nkuyimdi na wal per exam NPP Ameyoku no ode nsam to go abra we hye nsam chofo na oye campaign de for popol ebien ewo bono epoye mantemu eho eno de mensam ama omanpanyin na da na bezechi omanpanyin na bezechi Dr. Alhaji Mahmud Bawumia no midi nkunim ewo manga na hanom fa manga na etampapa no enfra onimnyafo oye onyimnyafo Akumfi ekasa no one nipa bebre su edu n'echira wokọ academy campaign no
politics here to me yango bombo na say awodin kaka eso koswa ne achirima no edin kitam na fe so to trans no wo kuno anama tuno bia otiechia obo ne marketing kitibia ebia ojijino na so dey futuru kwa ombejatum we ye wa most of the people me know me kama na fires in kanka me know mo din kitam wa che special problems since NDC had dominated for a long time. Last election, no, got it to having Kenya, Sino West, and I tell you, when Sophia and Tina, we are now going pro West. You take stories house, oh, my main corner, a kume, men or monko casa, I mean, show moon cry. It can be a military, me give actual campaigning a polling station for the year. There's one only voters at Chipro back, Chibrono back on daily basis of which we are canvassing. So, and she so we are out here, the party no share any Yari, so the leader, no one could cast. Yeah. Mwaka krebi na obinya na ndi amom omso bebu sempeni mkono gi so omo yesa na door-to-door campaigning akoso ya ena din kunimdie baba
na abra okase wie no ena odo chedu ebiemu dem one Yera Kennedy akompreku e Japan ono ne be ye adwene ye pa de mbe na so de NPP fu weje de wire fanfare campaign e wo oman Ghana na wo mo de be door to door campaign one-on-one campaign de elkobi na buabua no ekobom kokoko abna pepe bi to abama mate kokoko akosia depa to abama mate kokoko charity to abama mate kokoko eyi a blessing to abama mate na de eworu amanfo fie mu na erese won nzbua dem want to abandon from us door to door campaign and a one-on-one campaign on obaboa am wotum wedi inkunim
Menena gi kop pepe on chami makike mo rallies e woni infaso we rally on e ko para na t-shirts da mai dress kama ya jeans e ja issue we the same no makokasi chemo bia binum the messages we call but by and large ni eno ya na wuya once in a while no aye na kuma no kanya so the t-shirt na tare bi opam for no dia ko issue but actual work no and I'm making so being a police station executives no the additional ones in on daily basis campaign yes when in 1 month yes and because of time presidential candidate who will take my once or twice I will graduate so Sazuna PCC or my yadia, they do the rounds. But again, I want to make call frequently. Entina can ground from Najumano. Now come from Mojuman there as a police station executive. Any Freudian.
Abusia na ono owieno osanso do tuodo day. Obasre imbrehye badwemo fo emprempen wati egwado ewo mpehia hodo mu ina ena wono so wole per a wo kombrehye badwemo fia wo NPP fo no dem Obasre won pa won bo homozo no bohwe dem obia butum enya dodo eda ma Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia na wa ba yedom kase ewo omanga na mbehye badwemo fia me yadom a yeto abawie ne obedi nkunyim no wetum aboa amadom kase na akonpa no owie no chem dem onimiafo Martin eje mensa kosa ano ayembrehye badwemeni ezema adesha water chiman south abatum pesha do ono krono so ayesanso ye soafo hwaman Ghana yene nkro nkotsankate na yene amembu wonsamodo na mpuntundwuma wonsamodo ase anu podanko yidanko bia ne ni sakan odwuma wodo ole ye de bu adesha wobo no epoye mantem no onye asam kete kura
And yet, it's my phone and home, Mama. And maybe I mean, yes, or if you are. So if you are, I will not track individuals or share community or the Ubuntu Oba, the Adi. I tell you, I'm going to say the Biamacas, Yana Misro Mukaka. Every one in Mamoya, Shimuzo, really, Opemasam, Zoberania, and Bibi, but the signs are good. Media, including na Hono Jumano, and say, Yana Dinkaka, but me too. Committee for no any again police station. No my Jumaya or ye and your complaints no. Now we are more things of address as many of them as possible. Chino Yeshe, so this time near Mumbaku, winning no I so but teach my north. This is sitting in you. Then so may share Jumadia or Modi. That be also many Martin, Martin, a dinky na moa miso metua betum dia boa ono ani metu sana wo yeguso you said you dey no so yebeba na yabeboa na me ajoya nya ba ko fo adwuma every day bia wonam na also me sre amamfo ganka police station executives so munya adwuma na kunin ba mo be wono mo frequently
Motua edo na MCE edemakaswa na nonkwado oye mami Anita wakasa achem de ehwenzama wodoa NPP aban elbabaya oswenyo inde kacho nemom okase ena ochem de ehwe Dr. Mampenda da Yeru Mahama na bote odreba de obabua amomanga netumpo no osin kukobu no odreba
Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, the policies we all know. In your young nkukobun kete, young Friday ice cream, Sabi Obama from away in your day, Darby. Or your man paying the beer, Neka sorry, Kadiano, what so? On Kaka saw ya Kasefi. What's a Kawaze? No bisonse, no so fine Juma, always in Kawaze. Obini na wa can they so Nazi young crofo. Obi biara retain. Obi biara retain. Yapamocho. Omani Mayazin. Ghana for Nenina, the whole world. inyo na ye po obi obada andanzama na so man no aye ze me ye po obi obada andanzama is a watch you call for dum so for years din na nsan ya wo ye light cameo kakri say ya ye hui na we dum light na ya dem enfia na na ifie num ebe Ghana fo obeda na pepe yon kan chere de ya
92.5
obeda na on kan chere de we have short memories please yes rahum ona no policies ozerba no ona rampontu min cheche 24/3 ya work what's 3 in 1 erade MC ya meti hey na wa ama me baasa mo wo mo obokọ MC ya no pa MC ya adoro MC ya hey na obra wo ba ne do anyi ye besra ho ye papa Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia wo ma ye ma no kwan na ono ye nso ne nhweda oya na wo kan wo so but we all know the act. The presidential act, no, president need to over the executive powers. His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, Onkita Damazin, into Ghana for Yapawani Chow, vote number 1 to protect free SHS. What go school, Shenya Mamino? I wasn't one in Baroko school. Apart from that, in 1 hour, what can I do? So we'll go as sorry. Obi so be review, because station will be because review doesn't mean cancel. Now, so what is your meaning about review? You are going to introduce something where Bakacho Bido on tia. No tio the baby na went to ya. Oh, I went to no said the issue about your bed. Review each other robotum, and I'm repeating it. And then I'm saying why ye advert be now one kada. What are these or your 419? It was the kapapa, it's a baby before for in fine year free SHS. Eba ibochum won't crawl for wakada. If when you do brew a crampo is or is a buy year free progress brother marry ye and brother marry ye and Mrs. Jennifer no kind so